Om Namo Narayanaya. We are starting a new part of the Kama Sutra today. It is called About the Wives of Other Men. And with it, the first chapter, which is entitled Of the Characteristics of Men and Women, the Reasons Why Women Reject the Addresses of Men, about men who have success with women, and about women who are easily gained over. The wives of other people may be resorted to on the occasions already described in the sutra, but the possibility of their acquisition, their fitness for cohabitation, the danger to oneself in uniting with them, and the future effect of these unions should first of all be examined. A man may resort to the wife of another for the purpose of saving his own life, when he perceives that his love for her proceeds from one degree of intensity to another. These degrees are 10 in number and are distinguished by the following marks: love of the eye, attachment of the mind, destruction of sleep, emaciation of the body, turning away from the objects of enjoyment, removal of shame, madness, fainting, and death. Ancient authors say that a man should know the disposition, truthfulness, purity, and will of a young woman, as also the intensity or weakness of her passions, from the form of her body, and from her characteristic marks and signs. But Vatsyayana, the author of the Kama Sutra, is of the opinion that the forms of bodies and the characteristic marks or signs are but erring tests of character, and that women should be judged by their conduct, by the outward expression of their thoughts, and by the movements of their body. Now, as a general rule, Gaunikaputra says that a woman falls in love with every handsome man she sees, and so does every man at the sight of a beautiful woman, but frequently they do not take any further steps, owing to various considerations. In love, the following circumstances are peculiar to the woman. She loves without regard to right or wrong, and does not try to gain over a man simply for the attainment of some particular purpose. Moreover, when a man first makes up to her, she naturally shirks from him, even though she may be willing to unite herself with him. But when the attempts to gain her are repeated and renewed, she at last consents. But with a man, even though he may have begun to love, he conquers his feelings from a regard for morality and wisdom, and although his thoughts are often on the woman, he does not yield, even though an attempt be made to gain him over. He sometimes makes an attempt or effort to win the object of his affections, and having failed, he leaves her alone for the future. In the same way, when a woman is once gained, he often becomes indifferent about her. As for the saying that a man does not care for what is easily gained, and only desires a thing which cannot be attained without difficulty, it is only a manner of talk. The causes of a woman rejecting the addresses of a man are as follows: affection for her husband, desire of lawful progeny, want of opportunity, anger at being addressed by the man too familiarly, difference in rank of life, want of certainty on account of the man being devoted traveling, thinking that the man may be attached to some other person, fear of the man's not keeping his intention secret, thinking that the man is too devoted to his friends and has too great regard for them, the apprehension that he is not in earnest, bashfulness on account of his being an illustrious man, fear on account of his being powerful or possessed of too impetuous passion in the case of the dear woman, bashfulness on account of his being too clever, the thought of having once lived with him on friendly terms only, contempt of his want of knowledge of the world, distrust of his low character, disgust at his want of perception of her love for him. In the case of an elephant woman, the thought that he is a hare man or a man of weak passion, compassion lest anything should befall him on account of his passion, despair at her own imperfections, fear of discovery, disillusion at seeing his gray hair or shabby appearance, fear that he may be employed by her husband to test her chastity, the thought that he has too much regard for morality. Whichever of these above causes a man may detect, he may endeavor to remove it from the very beginning. Thus the bashfulness that may arise from his greatness or his ability he should remove by showing his great love and affection for her. The difficulty of the want of opportunity or of his inaccessibility he should remove by showing her some easy way of access. The excessive respect entertained by the woman for him should be removed by making himself very familiar. The difficulties that arise from his being thought a low character he should remove by showing his valor and his wisdom. Those that come from neglect by extra attention. and those that arise from fear by giving her proper encouragement. Thus ends this chapter. There was a lot to read there, and there's much more. This ends this part of this chapter, as there is more in the next video.